Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning in to real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing insights that you won't find anywhere else.
Show us here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out New Cat Body by Jeremy Campbell.
Right. It is Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. And yes, I have some somber news to report because we're losing people, but we should expect it. When you're a good team and you're out of the playoffs, that's what happens. They go on, they move. So, that being said, Terrell Williams is now the New England Patriots defensive coordinator. Hank Fraley is having his second interview with the Seahawks today. It's looking like, according to what I'm reading out of Allen Park, Calvin Shepard will be promoted as our DC because he's been studying under Aaron Glenn. Well, Fraley just went to Seattle this morning. It's an in-person interview. He turned down going to the Bears for now. Williams is confirmed. Yes. New York Jets has told AG that the job is his if he wants it, but he still wants to take that interview with the Saints today. And I think it's because of his playing time and the fact he was a coach there. He's giving them the respect of going there. But I think he's ultimately going to take the Jets job because deal with a bad owner or deal with a cap where you're barely going to be able to fill your team. I think that's the better fit for him. Plus, they have a better defense. And I think he'll be better off overall with the Jets. It is rumored that Mark Brunell has accepted being his OC no matter where he goes. So we're losing Mark Brunell as our quarterback coach. And with Teddy Bridgewater still being under contract and hasn't officially announced a retirement or filed the paperwork, I have the feeling that's who steps in to the quarterback coach role as soon as the season's done. I think OC, I would rather us go outside of the organization instead of promoting Scotty Montgomery. That's just me. Here's the thing. The reason why I like Kelvin Shepard being promoted as DC is there'll be less of a transition on defense. And offenses adapt faster than defenses with a new coach. We've seen this before, where an OC leaves and the team doesn't miss a beat. They have a new scheme and they come right out firing. So I think that's the case because the team's still the same on offense. Almost everybody on offense is already under contract. The only guy that's probably leaving is Zietler, but I think Mahogany steps right in. I think Zietler finally retires. This may have left a bad taste in his mouth, this loss, because that's why he left the Ravens, was the loss. That's why he left the Giants, was losing. Zietler is a great guard, but he's getting up there in age, and I think he might be on the way out the door to retirement pastures. Tanner Engstrom is accepting. He didn't want to be a head coach in the NFL. That was his words. So I think Scotty Montgomery is like our second choice right now. I think we're going to look outside, and I wouldn't mind them bringing back somebody like Deuce Staley, who's the current running back coach for the Cleveland Browns. Because I heard he was going today. I didn't hear anything about yesterday, but okay. I told you Kelvin Shepard was the first choice at DC. I've been telling fans that for 6 weeks now because I've said for half a season AG was on the way out the door. And Mike Vrabel being hired in New England when Terrell Williams was his D line coach, and if he'd have stayed on another year, planned on promoting him to DC, then I think that makes perfect sense on why he went to New England. I don't hate him for it, but now we got to find another one, another D line coach. We got to find another linebackers coach. I don't know if we're keeping the defensive backs coach that we had, but I thought the defensive backs overall did better than the previous season. But again, the only one that the only room that truly improved was our safety room. The cornerback room was kind of more of the same. So if we get a different cornerbacks coach, I'm not upset with it. Brunel is going with AG, Paul Jones. That's already been confirmed by Ellen Park. Wherever AG goes, that's where Brunel is going. So until we hear where AG signs, that's where Mark Brunel will be as OC. I got all this here, and they didn't say anything about Hank Fraley going yesterday. I'm going through all of my emails. Yep, I think Scotty Montgomery is our second choice. I seriously do. I don't know if they target QB right away, and there's a reason for it. If they are targeting QB, I bet that Aaron Rodgers is traded. Just a hunch, just a feeling, or Aaron Rodgers retires. We can't have with the Jets, you can't have your QB going on retreats during OTAs and practices and not building a rapport with the wide receivers. So at seventh, the kid out of Oregon, probably. That's who I'd take. I think the Giants end up with Cam Ward, and I think Shador Sanders will slide all the way to the Raiders. That's just my opinion. Jeez. Don't get why people gotta message me and just to talk shit. I'm not out here talking shit to anybody, and I'm not here to talk shit. I'm here to talk football. Congratulations, Chicago. You got your head coach. Smoking Dad is in my ears anyway. So I want to see who we bring in. We got to do all of our due diligence. There has to be some outside people brought in for the interviews as well. But Calvin Shepard and Scotty Montgomery fits the Rooney rule for assistants right away. So I expect they'll get their interviews. I think Calvin Shepard is 100% a hire. That's just me. I think he'll be our DC. So future contracts that we hired was Abraham Beauplan, Kingsley Egukun, Jake Fromm, Darren Gilbert, Eric Hallett, Jamarco Jones, Tom Kennedy, Chris Smith, Lauren Strickland, Stanley Thomas Oliver, Isaac Upu, and Ronnie Bell. Depressed, not even man titties can cheer me up. Are you talking about Dennis Allen? Because he's more than likely linked to Chicago. I think Calvin Shepard is our guy. Amen there. I like that one, Fred. I'm not depressed at all. We did bring in former Michigan wide receiver who's been with the 49ers the last 2 years and had some moderate success there. Ronnie Bell on a future one. Yeah. Yep, Ronnie Bell may find a way to stay. He's a speedy receiver, runs decent routes, has decent hands. I just think he was buried on a depth chart that he didn't have a chance in. If that makes sense. So that's our futures contracts that we've done. Yeah, Dennis Allen's going to Chicago more than likely. He's already interviewed there. Um, he's not on the interview list for Detroit so far, Dad. Breaking news from Josina Anderson. I'm told that Aaron Glenn has made it known he's planning to take the Jets head coaching job as early as yesterday per multiple league sources. Dan Lanner, good morning, Vietnam. Dan, get that website up. That's all I got to say. I'm going to start posting my articles there. Good. That'll be great. KCB Sports is going to go live online. That's all I can tell you. This has been an amazing season in the regular season and a terrible letdown in the postseason. Let's call it for what it is. We know what the goal was. We failed to get there. Poor execution, poor play calling, and poor playing overall cost us a chance to get further than we should have. Oh, so do I, Dad. The edge rusher? Yes. I I cannot overstate it enough. Saturday night, it hurt me. I was over it by Sunday, though. Then the talk of Ben Johnson. Yeah, and at first, yeah, I might have been a little angry, but you know what? I thought about it from the perspective of if you're offered a promotion and go to another company, you take it. Kurt Warner being interviewed for OC, they're poaching everyone. Yeesh. Yeah, it is what it is. I want to say this right now. Yes, he's a very good run defender. He has a nice bend. He has a good explosive first step for his size. He's a little bigger frame wise than Aiden Hutchinson. And he wouldn't have to start right away because we have Zadarius Smith under contract to be opposite Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson's real close to being able to return right now, but there's no sense in taking him off the IR because we're not playing. We're not practicing. And it sucks. That's what sucks, is that we're still not in it. We scored 31 points on offense despite all the turnovers. Say what you want offensively, it wasn't a good game, but it wasn't horrible. I We rushed for 212 yards total in the game. We threw for 317 net yards. It, it's just disappointing. Yep, 6'6" and 285 pounds. I love that kid. There's another guy that's a little bigger out of Arkansas. Stewart, I think his name is. Or Jackson. No, Jackson. Stewart's the Texas A&M kid. Jackson is the kid out of Arkansas. I like both of them. And those are both late first round picks that should be there. Because now we're picking at 28, guys. Because we are the highest seed to lose in the divisional round. 29 and 30 gets decided this week. And tonight we'll go over that. We'll review the divisional round. As painful as it was for us, we have to review it. That's what we do. We stuck with the run till mid third quarter. And then once we got over 2 scores behind again. Yep, Stewart is from A&M. Jackson is from Arkansas. Okay. He's another kid to look at. He's 6'7" and almost 290, 295. Looks like he's big enough to play inside or out, has elite bend. I thought the A&M kid was 6'5", but I could be wrong. But yeah, we're at that point where now it's time to focus on the draft or focus on what we have. We will have a third round pick this year. Will we pick it there? Who knows? Brad Holmes has been known to trade up and trade back from those compensatory pick spots and trade for compensatory picks. So, but it looks like we'll have a pick in every round but the sixth or the fifth, which is sixth, I believe. Santy's making all these plays hurts my. Oh, Sanders still. Oh yeah. How crazy is it that the Panhandle in Florida, all the way to Louisiana, has more snow than Michigan right now, guys? Orlando, I'm not taking a Michigan guy just because he's a Michigan guy. If he falls where we go, that's fine. So, yep, I think there's a lot of decent mid-round old linemen. There's nothing great in the first round old lineman wise. I think there's only 2 top tier guys, and they're going to be gone in the first 15, so we won't even get a shot at them. Um, I think Will Johnson is a top 10 to top 15 prospect as a corner, and I'm not trading up that far because of the draft capital it costs to get there. It's not time to mortgage the future. It's just not. Because say what you want, the Super Bowl window isn't closed, but it sure has shrank some with the coordinators leaving, the coaches in the being promoted, and the holes that are going to be left behind to be filled. And Dan Campbell does have an eye for coaches, so I'm not worried about it. Yeah, it is. It's heavier on D and weak on O, and it's perfect for us. We don't need another QB. We don't need more running backs. I mean, Ashton Genty, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes first overall. I'm sorry. I just have that feeling. Could you imagine putting him? Oh, I'm just saying, on average, I think they said across the lower peninsula, it's about maybe 4 inches of snow we got as an average. That means some people have 12 and some people have one. So Frank Ragnow has already said he's back. Taylor Decker said it hurts, but he'll be back. Glasgow, he's signed, but we don't know if he's back. But I know Zietler's gone. And we know Mahogany's good enough to play either side, so I'm good with that. As a matter of fact, I'd almost put Mahogany at left guard and move Glasgow back to right guard. And I think that sets our line better for success. Because Mahogany actually scored almost the same exact PFF score on both sides of the center in the 2 games he started. So I'm not worried about Mahogany being able to take over and be a starting offensive lineman now. That kid was amazing. Yeah, I know. I already announced that at the beginning of the show. I've known that since about 9 a.m., Bill. He's going to coach with his old head coach, Mike Vrabel, in the defensive coordinator position he was going to give him if he got to stay another year with the Titans. And it makes sense. I think Calvin Shepard is our DC. It's all but decided. He checks all the boxes for the Lions, in my opinion. Well versed, coaches up the guy, keeps it real. The players love him. Dan Campbell picked him. So AG is going to basically going to be the Jets head coach from what I just read. That must mean it didn't go well in New Orleans like I thought. There's not many players leaving. Belinda Brown, good to see you. Welcome back. So happy to see everybody here. We got 52 people watching. We got comments rolling in, and I love it. I don't know many of the. I hope New Orleans signed Kafka to be the head coach. It would be funny. you know, just so everybody knows, Jets did draft Aaron Glenn. Then he went to the Saints as a player. I believe he even went to the Cowboys as a player. So he's not going to the Cowboys. He's going to the Jets. Because that interview was scheduled for Friday. I don't think he takes it. I think he's going to sign today. I think we're going to hear that before 3 p.m. today that Aaron Glenn is the new coach of the Jets. And the first thing he's going to do is bring in Mark Brunell. I had the feeling Mark Brunell's gone. I think Hank Fraley is either going to go to Seattle or Chicago. Good afternoon, Dwayne. Terrell Williams is a Patriot as the defensive coordinator. I think our defensive coordinator is Calvin Shepard. Um, our offensive coordinator, I hope we bring a couple of guys in, but it's looking like it's going to be Scotty Montgomery unless we hire somebody from the outside. And I almost prefer to hire somebody from the outside because offense adjusts faster than defense when changing over. That may be. But Aaron Glenn's good with the media, unlike the guy that took the job there from San Francisco. I hope not, Bill T. I'm going to say that right now. I hope not. I hope we change the offensive game plan. I don't want Ben Johnson having any insight to Dan Campbell and what we've done here so far. Because we run the same playbook, they're going to know what to do defensively. That's my thought on it. I agree, Paul Jones. It will be a run heavy offense, but we're going to have to replace Hank Fraley more than likely. We're going to have to replace Tanner Engstrom. Either Hank Fraley or Tanner Engstrom will end up in Chicago. That's my prediction. Mark Brunell is already basically going with AG. So he's gone. I think Teddy Bridgewater, once he retires, will be the NFL QB coach. What he said is he doesn't want to be an NFL head coach or an offensive coordinator. Let's get that there, because if he didn't want to be a coach, he wouldn't have coached a high school team. He wouldn't have coached Hendon Hooker, Maurice Alexander, and Jamison Williams in the offseason for us prior to OTAs and rookie camps. Yeah. No, because I don't want to be the team that has the refs in their pocket. I want us to earn it. It takes more. Yep. I think he's going to be a QB coach. I think he's going to replace Mark Brunell. I've said that ever since we brought him back. Don't you guys find it funny? He can Deuce Staley. That's who I'd like to bring in as our OC. Frank has 2 years, 2 or 3 years left on his contract still. He said, "Yeah, it hurts." Yeah, of course. What's he going to say? I mean, he loves that guy. Hank Fraley's been here his entire career, but he also loves Dan Campbell and he loves this team. He said he's coming back. We got 2, 3 years left on Frank's contract because his was after. Yeah, he's the current running backs coach for Cleveland since his mom got out of hospice care. I agree. I don't think so yet. I don't think he's ready for that promotion yet. I think he still needs seasoning. I think Randall L is fine as the wide receivers coach. That's just me. I watched it yesterday when he greeted the Chicago front office when he came in there. I didn't watch his introductory press conference today. I have no need to watch it. I'm done. I'm not going to be that guy that gives the other teams love just because they got our coordinators. I wish them luck. I hope all goes well. But when they play us, it's F them, as always. My heart, my soul belongs with the Lions. I'm not here to talk shit. I'm not here to belittle it. So the Cowboys have hired Brian Schottenheimer and Jason Witten will be joining them on the staff. Congratulations for them. I'm over the loss of Ben Johnson because it was a promotion. If it wasn't a promotion, if it had been a lateral move, I'd be more upset. And that's where I'm at. But I've said bring Deuce Staley back. There's a couple other guys out there as OC I wouldn't mind bringing back. Hell, you want to keep Hank Fraley? Promote him. Promote him. He isn't gone. He's still here and he's still under contract. Promote him to OC. Let's see what he's got. Only reason to root as assurance is that Dan knows talent other than that. Nah. All right. Suppose Brian Johnson. So Dennis Allen is what you're talking about for Ben. Fraley as OC would be a great move for everyone. I agree because it keeps him here. It keeps the O line happy. He can handpick his O line coach, somebody that he is familiar with. But other than that, there isn't a lot of news out there. I keep watching. Nothing comes up. And nobody's even thought about that. Promoting Hank Fraley. I think I'm the first one that's even suggested it. Keep him in house, keeps the O line intact, familiarity with the team. Brian Stoic. He already loves giving BJs, so getting a BJ is good for him, Brian Stover. Eh, I'm telling you, that contract, if you look at it, it was this past season and next year as a Super Bowl or bust contract. I knew you'd like that one, Brian. And again, I'm going to say it again because I said it on the last show just to be able to poke fun at the Bears. Ben Johnson went to the Bears so he can have time off in January from now on. Evidently, he doesn't like coaching good games in January. How am I? I'm fine. I've been having fun with it. I handled the loss with as much dignity and pride as I can. It sucked. We played like ass. Defensively, we were horrible. Offensively, we were just barely good. And that's where I'm at on it. But that's one game. That wasn't the totality of our season. It was just the finality of it. I'm still a Lions fan through and through. I will still cover this team. I will still bring you the news as I get it, the best I can, and try to give my honest opinion because that's what any of us should do. Benedict Johnson is going to fall flat on his face in Chicago. I don't know if he will. He might be good there. He might not. It really depends on what he puts around him. I think experience. hmm, I don't know because they're still in the playoffs. So, and Cliff Kingsbury's turned down every interview he's been offered so far. All of them. Oh, I knew what you meant. Fall flat on his face in Chicago. Yes, I'm thinking that once the season ends, because that's when his contract is over, Teddy retires and becomes our QB coach. I think that's what happened. Yeah, you can say he's been planning it since Eberflus was fired, but there's no proof of that. Our offense didn't miss a beat until the playoffs. Um, I just think there needs to be a rule in place. If your team's in the playoffs, no coaches can go talk to another team until they're out of the playoffs. Khalil Mack, I don't know. I don't think he fits. We still have Z Smith under contract for another year with a team option for the year after that. We have Aiden Hutchinson coming up into his fourth year. We're probably going to pick up his fifth year option and work on his extension prior to the season. We're going to probably do the same thing with Jamison Williams. Jamison Williams checked all the boxes we wanted him to this year. Over 750 yards, over 5 touchdowns, uh, over 45 plus catches. The kid did what he was supposed to, and he missed 2 games. As far as playing on the field, the bye week plus our coaches out globetrotting around was a double whammy. 100%. And I heard he said something about Dan Campbell in the interview. I do have that feeling that they'll hire Pete Carroll too. I think Mack will be a free agent. I think they got to cut some cap because they've got some cap casualties coming up and some big decisions to make. And this is the first year that Khalil Mack clears cap by cutting him prior to the draft. I think Mack will end up a cap casualty. Khalil Mack won't accept being depth. He's starter level talent still. I think it's better off to look at the draft for the depth that we need from top to bottom. We need defense. We saw it. Our offense is fine. Defense is what we need. We need more defensive depth. We fell apart at the end of the season due to injuries. Um, and I think the draft is the way to do it. Go younger, not expensive. It may not be a bad idea. I just don't like it. Did Everflus ever stop Detroit? What, once? He was 1-3 as a coach there against us. Yeah, the SOL fans are back. The SOL fans from the other fan bases are back too. Yeah, it gets me sick too. I don't think our windows is closed, but I think it shrank a little. Let's be real. I think the window's still open. Chicago might be. Let me see if the draft was today. I will tell you the draft order right now. I think they're in the top 10 though. One will be the Tennessee Titans, uh, Cleveland Browns, New York Giants, New England Patriots, or Jacksonville Jaguars, or the Raiders. Everybody else has 5 wins or more. You say start staying away from injury prone players, but we had some non-injury prone players get injured this season. So I'm going to go away from that one. Um, Chicago Bears will probably pick somewhere between 7 and 10. Yeah, who all ultimately stems from the Peyton coaching tree, who stems from the Rex Ryan coaching tree. You know, all of these go back to great coaches of the past. You know, the only one that is cemented in place with their pick right now is the San Francisco 49ers. They will have the 11th pick. 7 and 10. The 12th pick will stay with the Dallas Cowboys. At 8 and 9 is Miami Dolphins, uh, Indianapolis Colts, Atlanta Falcons, Arizona Cardinals. So from picks 13 through 16, that can change. 9 and 8, only one team there, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals. At 10 and 7, you have the Seattle Seahawks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Denver Broncos, Pittsburgh Steelers, and those guys can be anywhere from. I think the only one that sticks at 18, because the rest of them are playoff teams, is Seattle. I think Seattle's going to end up having to hire Claude Henry Schmoot out of college because no respectable coach in the NFL wants to have Balky as their GM. That's just my personal opinion. Um, I think it's funny that the Jets actually canceled their interview with Arthur Smith. You know, I hear that, but at the same time, at 28, there's some guys that are going to be right there. And I think we should just stand pat in the first round. That's just me. And if we move up, it'll be minimal, like 4 or 5 spots like last time. We'll move from 28 to 24, maybe 23. Uh, or we move back. We might even trade out of the first round if the guys we want are not there. Be thankful we got Terry on Arnold and not 100% and not get Darius Robinson. He missed almost the entire season for the Cardinals. I wanted to see him on the field. I wanted to see what he did because I listened to that kid at the draft and he had an amazing interview. He prepares like a coach. I don't know if Nick Saban wants to come back to the NFL. He sucked with the Miami Dolphins. He was absolute trash. I think he stays right where he's at, making good money as an announcer on the college game day crew and stays there clowning the SEC and the NCAA. Because when we hired Dan Campbell, who was a passing game coordinator, no offensive coordinator experience, but did draw up the offensive game plans for the Saints. What did we say would make him successful? Putting the right guys around him as OC and DC. And he started out with Anthony Lynn, and I was like, that's a bad pick. I said it from jump. Anthony Lynn was awful. It was the worst thing we could have done. And everybody jumped down my throat that preseason. Right. I think we're going to splash in players like similar to Manu and Mahogany in for depth. We still have a deep O line. Not a lot of these players go off the roster this year. I'm interested to see what Kingsley Egakun's second year does for his progression, if he becomes better, because he's a center that came out of Florida, who was once a top 5 center considered if he'd have left as a junior year, but he stayed in it for his senior year. I'm proud of what we accomplished in the regular season and disappointed in our postseason, just like everybody else in this chat. That fall off that we had in that game was of an epic magnitude. We didn't expect that. But we also didn't expect Amik Robinson to get hit with friendly fire and be out the second play of the second drive at the end of the first quarter, early second quarter, whenever that was. We need Josh Allen. I don't think so. Victoria, I love you. Yeah, McDaniels is the OC and Terrell Williams is his DC. What's up, Harpazo? Good to see you, Brent. Getting that time of day where it's time for me to talk about my sponsor, the one that pays me to be here. Lions beat themselves every time we lose. We failed in the red zone. 3 turnovers in the red zone. You can't have that. Fail to score in the red zone, you fail to win the game. And that's what happened. They didn't fail in the red zone. We did. It's Brandon Service right at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, 602 West Atherton Road. In Flint, where the water's shit, but the tires are good. Stop in and check them out. Used tires starting at $45 and up. Used tires. Call to get your quote. They are delivered within 1 to 2 business days. 810-233-8230. Talk to George or Red. Mention this ad. If you're buying new tires, you will get $25 off a set when you buy them. If you're buying used tires and you buy a set, you will get $10 off your set. Tell them Smoking Jeremy B sent you. And here we go. Since you guys want to hear it, TJ Watt has to be a free agent. He's under contract. You know, everybody that everybody wants to bring in is under contract. I don't usually talk this way, but fuck the Bears and their new coach. LOL. Hey, it is what it is. But they were 5-12. Fuck the Bears. They were 11-6. Fuck the Packers. They were 14-3. They got skull fucked. And we were 15-2. It takes more. More fight. More heart. More grit. I'm a Colby fan, but if he doesn't take another step up, then we need to quit wasting a roster spot on him. He's either going to be a competent backup or gone. I think they're training him to be the next Dan Skipper because Dan Skipper isn't going to be here forever, guys. I think they're training him to be the next swing guy for Colby Sarsgaard. And the other one that needs to be gone is Gainer. You know, that guy's done nothing. You know, both teams are cocky as hell. Right now, they should be. They should be. And for all of us that were clowning them when they said that about coming to Detroit, that they were ready for Detroit, they proved it. Yes, it does take more guys that's healthy on defense, and that's the what I'm going to say, Brent. We even tried to run 12 men on the field twice. Yep, this is the year that Broderick Martin needs to show up. Remember, that was only his second season. This is the year he needs to make that step, or he'll be off the roster in 2 years. Let's be real, this is the time where we need to see that depth that we picked develop. We picked them as depth because we had good guys in front of them. Yes. Thank you for tuning in. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here, guys. I am not in here trying to shit talk everyone, because you know what? We have no room to talk shit now. We're on the couch with the rest of them. We failed to get there. But until they beat us, they can hate us because they ain't us. Have a great day, everybody. Who knows?